Today, we're going to talk about a sector that is on nobody's radar right now, the industrial metals. But under the hood, some of them look really good, others not so much. We'll talk about it. But I give you my 4 favorites that nobody's talking about right now, and I give you one stock that I want to buy myself. Nobody's invested in this, and it pays a 7% dividend yield. Daniel likes that. Let's go. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. All right, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. Housekeeping really quick. If you like this weekend's video about the updates on Equinox Gold, leave a like, leave a comment so we know what you thought about it. Also, if you don't subscribe to this channel, the content you'll hear today here in Hot Trades of the Day is something you usually don't hear anywhere else. So hit the subscribe button, you don't miss a video. And as you will see today when we talk about my stock, my favorite stock from the industrial metal sector that I want to buy right now, that's the type of information you get only here. We're getting in this one pretty early. So let's get to it. Industrial metals. Nobody cares. Everybody cares about the precious metals, rightfully so. We were super early in on the precious metals boom. Right now, I'm a little cautious. Gold, silver, they are overbought short term. Yes, there are forces at play. Short squeeze with silver, central banks buying with gold. That can push the prices higher. But man, consolidation would be healthy. Not so much with the industrial metals. Let's start with copper. I've talked about copper in the past, obviously, and I talked about it last week and said, hey, copper looks good. Why? It's forming a bottom, right? We're making higher lows, we're making higher highs. We regained this resistance, support zone, now resistance zone, jumped over it. I said, wait for the retest. Boom shakalaka, retest is here. What is possible? Well, on the downside, we still have a gap fill right here that would coincide with the lower end of this now support zone. It should be blue actually because it's a support now, but used to be resistance. You know, resistance zone, I usually do yellow. So this looks interesting. Put copper on your watch list. Now let's take a look at some of the more popular industrial metals and why nobody's talking about them. Let's start with lead. Let me zoom out and take a look what lead looks like. This is what the price of lead looks like and what has happened since 2021. Snooze fest, nothing. It's gone sideways. Do I need to invest in this? No, not really. Okay, it doesn't look terrible because we basically broke this downtrend and we're going up, and theoretically you can play it all the way up here. Is that a lucrative trade? For me, not so much. I'd rather be in commodities or stocks that have momentum, that are moving up. Ooh, maybe aluminum is a stock like that or a commodity like that. Nope, not at all. As you can see here, same thing, has gone sideways since 2022. Boring. I don't need to invest in this. Now let's compare this with an industrial metal that I told you about that looks great, zinc. Completely different story, right? It broke out the downtrend and broke out of the triangle formation. This looks great. Well, the price is probably correct, at least to this area right here. Let me mark this out for you. Probably, right? We got a gap fill. We got this former resistance zones of highs. I could make it as a zone, but you get the idea. But this is a breakthrough from a long-term downtrend. If you go to the weekly, you can see it very clearly, right? Since 2022, breakout from the downtrend. Now that's a commodity that I want to buy. That's an industrial metal that I am interested in. Also, 2 industrial metals that I like even way more than I like zinc, and copper. Hey, what about my old darling platinum? Look at this chart. Man, this is every technician porn right here. Broke the downtrend, build up a new uptrend. We didn't even test a long-term uptrend. That's super bullish. Had the blue support zone, then turned resistance, broke above it, retested it. As I told you, now we're turning around. Man, put that on your watch list. If you are a more speculative person, that might be and trader, that might be a great swing trade to get in now. Why? Well, let me get to the 4 hour. Whoop! We just broke the downtrend today. Right? If you are a swing trader, man, this is as good as it gets. Well, I wouldn't say that, but it's pretty good. And you know what else I like? Look at the RSI. Not overbought at all. Looks completely different than gold and silver. This leads me to my fourth base metal. And yes, platinum is a precious metal, but also an industrial metal. It's a hybrid. And this is the nice double whammy you get with platinum and also with palladium. Now, palladium, let's not kid ourselves, has been one of my disappointing calls of the past month. That's the honesty we gotta have here at Hot Trades of the Day, right? I called the breakout when it broke over the purple zone. It didn't break out, it broke back down all the way to that blue support zone. But look at the past week. You rarely see this. I don't mean 8, it's 8, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep, can still count. 8 green candles in a row, that's already rare. I mean, let me zoom in so you see this a little better, because this is really rare and a really interesting sign for us. Almost all of them opened and then got bought up right from the open. You see that? There are almost no wicks. I think there's one tiny wick on the very first candle, green candle, but that's it. That means as soon as it opens, everybody, like somebody, whoever is investing in it is buying up the weakness every day. That's as great of a bottoming formation as you can get. And you can see if today holds, we also already made a higher low. This looks like could turn into a nice W bottoming formation. Keep an eye on palladium. I was early, no doubt, but that might not mean that I'm wrong. So, do we need to invest in all the industrial metals? No, we don't. One of the reasons is that US economy looks shaky. China looks better because Beijing is stimulating the hell out of the economy. But still, we're not 100% sure. Is the Chinese data really reliable? The answer is absolutely not. They lie more than a drunken 20-year-old at a bar with a fake ID trying to pick up a girl. Okay? But the money is getting pumped into the system. So at some point, the base metals will start to move. I personally don't care when it is because I'm not going to invest in them. I like palladium even more than platinum. I like platinum because of the setup. Palladium, that's fine, right? It has big upside, as you know. Platinum, you get the precious metals, you get industrial use. That's really nice. And copper is its own thing because that is the one industrial metal that is liquid enough and big enough for the big institutions to invest in. And I really like the setup that we saw right now. Now, let me show you a setup that I really like. This is the stock from the industrial metal sector that I want to buy right now that nobody's talking about. And this is super interesting. This is, we're going outside the US, but you can buy it on the US Stocks Exchange. It's Vale. It's a Brazilian company. It's a conglomerate. It's basically like Rio Tinto or BHP or Glencore. So they're extremely strong position in iron ore, which hasn't done very well because you may have heard China, tiny little problem with their real estate sector, right? They're big in nickel, which also has been a big underperformer, but they're also in copper, also in cobalt, which I really like. So they have their hands a little bit in everything, but again, iron ore and nickel are the two big ones. Look at this chart. So when you have long-term downtrends, yeah, that's right. This one's going to go way back, 2021. You have layers of a turnaround. A turnaround doesn't go from 0 to 100 non-stop. It goes in layers. And we last saw this, and I pointed this out, and we played this perfectly with gold. Remember with gold, I told you, hey, the downtrend is breaking first, then 3,450 is going to break. That was the big resistance zone. And then 3,500, which is the round number, more psychological. So we had three levels, right? Three layers. And here it's the same thing. So as you can see right now, we have three downtrends, but we already broke the medium one from 2024. We have two support resistance zones. And if we zoom in, you can see we are just about to break the first one. We're trying to push above it. We made a new high. Look at this, right? I pay attention to this. I love this. This is the highest level we've been in since November last year. Right? This is a beautiful bottoming formation. We're closing it out. Are we in a new uptrend? Yeah, I mean, we're in a short-term new uptrend. That's true. Long-term, we're still down. That's why nobody's talking about it. But again, remember, when everybody's talking about a stock, that's when the best gains already happened. Usually, when we talk about emerging markets, and we're talking about a Brazilian stock right here, you make the most money when these stocks go from terrible environment, terrible business environment, to just okay or zero. That's when you make the most money because they get so bombed out because all the international investors leave. The people that live in the emerging markets usually don't have the capital to offset the loss of the international investors. So the stocks just plummet. And let me, just for shits and giggles, let me show you the long-term chart of Vale so you know what I mean when I talk about these moves that Vale has. Look at these down moves, these vicious down moves that Vale has. But what great buying opportunities those were, right? Here, we went from about 9 to 37. Here, if you bought down here, I'm not even saying you hit the super bottom, right? Let's say you got in here. You got 250 all the way up to around 15. Here, you got in around 750, rode that sucker up all the way to 22, 23. So this is the type of moves that we get with emerging market stocks. If we get in when things are terrible in the chart, right? And with the business, and sometimes even the country, depends on the country, but things are getting from terrible to just okay. They don't even need to go to good. And this is the setup that we're having right now. We have 3 downtrends, we have 2 resistance zones. You see on the weekly very clearly, Vale is already broke the first downtrend, trying to break that first resistance zone. So this is a great setup. It'll take a while, but here's the beautiful thing. We're gonna get a juicy dividend yield of 7%. While waiting for this stock to go up and complete the turnaround. When everybody completes the turnaround, which by the way, will be here, right? 14.50. So by that time, we're already up 40%. Then everybody will be talking about it. Now, let me show you an additional reason why Vale is so interesting, and that is the Brazilian market overall. We're going to start talking about emerging markets more because they are starting to move. And here is the iShares MSCI Brazil ETF. And you obviously see what's going on. We are in the tippy top of a triangle formation and we broke out. Right? We have been in this thing since 2020, downtrend. We had a fake breakout here. Actually, we could even do this if you want to. If it might make you feel better. Same thing, right? We already broke this downtrend. But the real signal, because we had a nasty fake out here in July, is this breakout right now. And as you can see, we've been going up in Brazilian stocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row now. And we're not even overbought. Now, the 2 stocks that dominate the Brazilian stock market, 2 heavyweights, and that is Petrobras, the oil company, and, yes, you guessed it right, Vale, the industrial metal conglomerate. So if Brazil goes up, international money will start pouring in because they're looking for alternatives where they can make real returns when big tech is not moving, and therefore the US markets are not moving as fast anymore. Why? Well, because big tech is weighted so heavily in the S&P. So it's cute if pharma moves. It's cute if healthcare moves. But it's not moving the needle much for the S&P. So what are they going to do? They're going to look internationally. Brazil breaking out? Great. What do I buy? The ETF. Well, what's the heavyweight in the ETF? Petrobras and Vale. So the ETF will start buying up the Vale stock. There you have it. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you like this type of information that nobody's talking about right now, but we'll be talking about it in the future, hit the subscribe button and we see us on Wednesday.